Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to another session powered by Shubh Language Academy in partnership with the French of Jaipur for our Sunday speaking series. And as you can see, the topic for the day is how to enhance English speaking skills. Now, speaking in English is something that is mandatory for every one of us in contemporary situation. And the situation is such that it becomes so difficult at times for us to express ourselves in English. At times, we are not sure of the tense that we are using. At times, we are not sure of the vocabulary that we are using. And also, the kind of confidence that is required for us to express ourselves in English is missing at times. So, we'll try to see in this session of today as to how we can empower ourselves in speaking English. So, without further ado, let's get going. I'll quickly move ahead with the slides. Now, the question starts with what are the reasons why people struggle to speak English well? The first and foremost reason that comes out is lack of practice. We have seen that we, as learners of English, we are not consistent when it comes to regular practice. Now, consistency is something that is absolutely imperative to move ahead in our life. It can be any kind of skill, it can be a soft skill, it can be a technical skill that we want to develop. Everything needs practice. So, I think first we will see what the reasons are, what are the common reasons why people struggle to speak English well. So, one among them is lack of practice. In case you have any points that you would want to put across, please feel free to dash in your points as well. What can be your challenges, or what are the reasons which impede you, which stop you from speaking fluent English? Uh, Moving ahead. Next point that we encounter regularly is the fact of is a fear of making mistakes. Sure, every one of us, we feel that okay, if I speak English, then maybe I'll make mistakes, and if I make mistakes, I'll be judged. So these are the points that we are challenged with on and off. So many learners, they hesitate to speak English because they are afraid of being judged, and they feel that their confidence and their motivation would go down if they make these kind of mistakes. So I think making mistakes is quite normal and natural. These are the stepping stones. We are not born with a foreign language just like that. We have to work on it, and while we are working on it, we can make mistakes. But that's true. In a world full of judgments, it's so difficult to be in that zone wherein we don't feel impacted or affected because of the judgments passed by others. But it is a phase; it goes away. We have to ensure that we do it in a way that empowers us and doesn't discourage us. I can see some others have also joined in. I wish everyone a good morning. I'll just quickly reiterate on the topic. The topic for the day is how to speak English in a way wherein we are comfortable, we are confident. So we are right now looking at the reasons why people struggle to speak English well. The first reason we saw was lack of practice. The second reason that you see on the screen is a fear of making mistakes. So if you feel that you have something to say, please feel free to talk about these fears. If you are a part of these fears, or these fears are a part of your English learning experience, please feel free to express yourself as well. And how have you overcome, if at all you have overcome, or you're still struggling and coping with these kind of points to move ahead in your life of English language. So, fear of making mistakes is another point that stops us from moving ahead in English. We'll look at the solutions as well after having dealt a little bit about these common reasons why people struggle to speak English. If you feel that you are also one among them who is struggling with these kind of points, please feel free to raise your hand and to talk about your experience as well. Another point is limited vocabulary. Now, limited vocabulary comes as an obstacle for people who would want to express themselves in a detailed way. We fall short of words, we fall short of expressions, we fall short of all kind of understandings and knowledge that we would want to put across. And that's very important that we as learners, we ensure that we have a developed vocabulary. I don't say that we have to know everything on the planet. Something that is relevant, something that is important, something that makes us connect with the other person is something that we should be aware of. So vocabulary has to be enhanced, it has to be developed, and it can only happen when we read a lot, we talk to people, we discuss, we listen a lot. These kind of exchanges have to happen. Another point is weak grammar foundation. At times, we have heard people say that don't worry about the grammar, it comes with time, and just keep on speaking. That's true. But unless we have a strong foundation, unless we are sure of what we are saying, we cannot move ahead in English speaking sense. So, what is important is we have to have a strong grammar foundation. We should know all the tenses, we should know how these structures are formed, and then we can move ahead. We don't have to master them in a way that you have to mug them up first and then you have to move ahead. No, you get to know those rules, you get to understand how those constructions happen, and then you move ahead. And with the passage of time, we make mistakes, we develop them, we correct them, we rectify them, and we strengthen them, and we move ahead. And that's how our learning process, our learning journey starts. Otherwise, just holding on to grammar strong foundation and not talking and not speaking, or the opposite, wherein we talk a lot, we exchange a lot, but we are not sure of the grammar foundation, and we make lots and lots of mistakes. Even that is not suggested. So we have to be very sure of the grammar. Grammar is something that is the base of any language. In terms of pronunciation, now pronunciation is also at times challenging, especially when we are talking to native people. When we talk to the Indian community, we tend to understand what Indians are saying because we are totally soaked into Indian English. But when the question is about, let's say, we're talking to the Britishers or we're talking about to the American people, we fail to understand their pronunciation. And the reason that comes as an understanding is the fact that we haven't really trained our ears and our brain to that kind of pronunciation. Not only have we trained our brain for that understanding, but at the same time, we as learners, we have failed in terms of developing those kind of pronunciation skills in ourselves. So we have to really work hard, and we should know as to where we have to stress so that we could be understood by others and we can understand other people as well. Another point that comes our way is translating from the native language. Now, we have seen that we can have any native language. It can be Hindi, it can be our local language from our specific regions. And that's perfectly fine because that is our base. Now, what happens is in terms of acquiring a new language, we tend to forget that it is not the translation that happens from mother tongue to the foreign language. We might say certain things in our mother tongue in a way which are not at all said in the same way in the foreign language. You know, we might say, those who know Hindi well, they would understand that when we say मुझे हिंदी आती है, मुझे English आती है, that's what you would say. But you cannot translate the same thing in English by saying that, you know, Hindi comes to me or English comes to me. It doesn't make sense. You would say, I know Hindi, I know English. You would go for a different formulation. This is just a little example to show that diversity of languages, it does exist. And when it exists, we have to be sure of the fact that we move ahead in a mindful way. Now, when I say mindful, the word is very important. Mindful means that you should be aware of the fact that you have to understand that languages are different, and you or we cannot translate directly from word to word from one language to the other one. Every time your brain asks you to do so, please ensure that you check with people who are expert of that language, one, or you go on internet and you check if it is really done that way or not. It might be that we have been saying certain things in a specific way for so many months, maybe for years, and no one corrected us ever. That's okay. But that doesn't prove, that doesn't justify that what we have been saying is correct. So it's always a wake up call. And the people who tell us, oh, this you have been saying wrong for a long time. Okay. Understand it, make a note of it, and then move ahead in the correct way. Especially surround yourself with people who are expert in your mother tongue and also in that foreign language, because I'm sure we have so many experts around us who are there to guide us, to let us know as to what is said in a specific way in the foreign language, of course. But since we belong to a specific language clan, we would say differently. So change can be brought with the experts' help. Moving ahead, another point that bothers us is lack of listening skills. Now, this is something that is completely connected with the way we speak. We tend to underestimate, we tend to undervalue the strength and the power of listening skills. Now, on a very lighter note, I would like to say that God has given us 2 ears and has given us one mouth, which means that we have to listen double and we have to speak half. Which brings me to the fact that we have to do a lot of listening. People do not do a lot of listening, and that's why we tend to fail to understand as to what is being said. When we don't listen in an apt manner, we even fail to respond to the questions that are being posed to us. And the intention is just to respond. First, we have to understand what is being said. Half of the answers can be developed from the question itself. I mean, when someone asks you in English, or it can be applied in any other foreign language as well. But right now, we are just focusing on English. So when someone asks you something in English, you can pick up the same vocabulary that is being asked to you in a question and respond to the other person in the same formulation. That helps in a wonderful way. There's a point to be raised. I think Shubhashi would like to say something.
Yes, sir. You say that God has given us 2 years so that we can listen double, right?
Yeah, that
But
was
the
on a
thing is,
lighter
God has
note.
given.
That was on a lighter
But
note,
the
at least for me.
no, the thing is that how would I like to interpret is God has given us 2 years on either side, on both the side, so that from one side it goes in from the other side it goes out.
So, but of course, it has to root through the brain. So there is this brain that would process it, right? I think you have forgotten the brain that exists between the two. So
Yes,
it
sir.
enters from one ear, it goes to the brain, it gets processed. What has to be stored gets stored. What has to be rejected, it can be rejected. So I think
So
you
just
can read
one
it that
question
way.
I to like to raise here, which you can answer later
Yeah.
because it just
Yes.
came to my mind.
Yeah. Please tell me.
Like listening, it's obviously a very important activity, but how is it or what should we do rather when we don't get the exact sound? Maybe let's say you're pronouncing it in a correct way or perfect way, but my ear is not receiving it. So
That's a
as
very
a result, my pronunciation cannot improve. So what is the solution to this problem
right.
when our ears cannot receive the correct pronunciation?
Absolutely correct, Shribashi. That's a very interesting point that you have raised. I'll tell you. What happens is that our brain, our eyes, and our ears, I call these elements, these existing elements, as naive, as innocent creatures. Why? Because they haven't heard, they haven't seen, and they haven't processed anything as of now. What becomes as a responsibility of the expert who's training us, or if we are our own expert or we are our own trainer after some time, what we need to do is that we have to understand that we have to train our brain. I call it as a golden triangle. When I say a golden triangle, because we see a shape of a triangle wherein we have at the bottom line, we have got our ears on the either sides, we have got our eyes. So that becomes a line, and in the center, we have our brain. So if you see, it's like a triangle. Now, I call it as a golden triangle. Now, the golden triangle is very important in any kind of language learning. Let's talk about the point raised by Shubhashish. If for the first time I'm listening to a Britisher, my ears are not acquainted to that kind of a sound. My brain has no idea how Britishers say, let's say, a specific word that has been said in the Indian English for so many years, and my brain and my ears are so acquainted and so accustomed to that sound. But the British part of it has never been developed or trained by my ears, neither by my brain. Now, what happens is that when I am listening to a Britisher, or for that matter, an American person, or any other English speaking country's person, it becomes my moral responsibility, Shubhashish, and everyone else. When I say moral, because since I'm doing something in an intentional manner, in a manner which is very profound, it becomes my responsibility, my duty to ensure to catch hold of the transcription of what is being said. It is totally possible when someone speaks to me, I am not going to ask this person to stop and give me the spelling of everything. So the training, or rather the homework, starts way back. Now, if I know that next month I am going to get in touch with Britishers because of some project of my professional life, of my personal life, then I need to do my homework well. How the homework goes, Shubhashish, reiterating on the point that you raised, I will be training my brain with British pronunciation, British recordings, British dialogues in a way that would train my brain to understand those sounds. Now, this training happens how? When I listen to these dialogues, maybe my brain doesn't understand certain words, and I'm like, what was that? I don't know. Then comes the golden triangle into play. How does the golden triangle work? So, first, you listen to the dialogue that you would want to hear. You write some words down that you can catch hold of, and then just verify with the transcription. Oh yes, I got those words, but I did not get these certain words which were after those words. Okay, so these were the words, maybe my brain did not understand them well because pronunciation was not the way I have been doing or I have been hearing around myself. So it's exactly the British way. Now, after having underlined those words, you have to replay those words and you have to ensure that the eyes send the image of those words to the brain, and ears, they send the sound of those words to the brain. So the brain would fuse the two and would make sense out of it. So the brain registers the image of that word sent by the eyes, and the brain registers the sound sent by the ears to the brain. It would superimpose the two, and slowly and steadily, Shubhashish and everyone else, slowly and steadily, first it would be difficult for the brain to accept, oh, that was the sound and that was the word. I knew the word, but I never got that sound ever because that was a different pronunciation for me altogether. Let's say a very simple word. Let's say the word is reservation, and we have been saying in the English style reservation, which is perfectly fine. So reservation was never done the way reservation by me. It was always done reservation, reservation, right? So one fine day when I get to know about this British pronunciation or the American pronunciation, which says reservation, slowly and steadily, oh, the word I knew, it was reservation. Oh, I did not know it was a reservation. So fine, from this point forth, I'm going to hold onto it as a reservation, and the brain starts to register it. So reiterating back to your point, Shubhashish, the fact is you have to train your brain. It is a Herculean task. It is a task that requires immense patience. But believe me, each and every word that we are going to tweak, we are going to refine, we are going to remold slowly and steadily. It's going to get added to the right pronunciation, right vocabulary, experience, and that's how you develop the whole set of words, and that's how the whole English speaking experience is going to change itself. That makes
Thank you,
sense.
sir. It was really a wonderful explanation, and I really like the technical part. It was very well explained. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, my pleasure. I'll still talk a minute more on this point. The fact is, transcription, when comes along with foreign language books and even in English, it is undervalued. It is not given as much of importance as it deserves. So what I would like to suggest everyone, always sit with the transcription. When I say transcription, these are the texts of the recordings. We have plethora of things available on YouTube. Please watch those videos. At the end of this session, I'm going to share a little podcast prepared by Shubh Language Academy, when I'm going to help you. I'll thank Shubhashish for the fact that he has raised such an important point, that how to strengthen our listening. And when we strengthen our listening, we automatically strengthen our speaking competencies as well. So you need to ensure that everything that you hear right now when talking to you, I'm sure everyone is understanding each and every word what is being said to you. Why? Because your brain has really worked a lot, and your eyes have already sent the message to the brain that this is how you see those words fly in front of you, and the ears have already done the wonderful work of training the brain with those sounds. So when I'm speaking to you right now at this point of time in English, your brain is registering everything. But if it were to be done by a British or an American person, we struggle at times, and that's normal. That's perfectly fine. We don't have to feel low on that. It's a normal process, because we haven't had the opportunity to speak to those people for a length. Now, how do you do that? You always sit with the transcription and just ensure, just underline those words. Okay, out of these 100 words, I had problem with, let's say, 60 words. My God, these 60 words were differently pronounced. I never knew these were pronounced this way. I would underline them. I would write them in my little list, and then I would work on those words individually, and slowly and gradually everything would change. And please ensure that it's just not knowing the right pronunciation, it's also imbibing it. It doesn't stop at just knowing. I know it is a reservation, but every time I speak, I say reservation. Then what good does it do to you? Nothing. So the step is, first, identify what your errors are. Second, correct them, rectify them. And third, imbibe the right part of it as well. When you do it, it's a process, it takes time, but the strengthening happens because you have understood it. You have imbibed it. It stays with you forever. And please ensure that you use it every now and then, so that you can check yourself, oh, am I really making some progress or not? If you are still going back to the wrong word, that means you haven't had the opportunity of using that word in the right length. So please do, make sure that you use those words. All right. Any other point you would like to ask in between? We can always work on those points as well. Now, another point that comes is nervousness and lack of confidence. Are the people who feel that nervousness and lack of confidence is something that bothers you, that is like an obstacle for your English speaking journey? Is it? I'm sure we all feel that way. Yeah, Shubhashish, you feel that way
Yeah, I feel that way not in terms of language, but in terms of context.
in terms of context.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm going to speak. I'm just nervous if people are going to beat me up.
All right.
I think I'm very nervous while speaking in public. First of all, I have stage fear. I used to have it a lot, but now fortunately it is lessened. But
So,
like when I, in public, I know in 4 or 5 cases I got beating from the public, as I told you.
see, that was a different point. But when you talk about the stage fright, Shubhashish, and you yourself, you are telling that earlier it was too much. Now I know how to manage it. You
Yeah,
have learned it. You have
sure.
learned it, right?
Because because of many situations where I had to or I have to speak. So
Right.
like stage fright, I've almost overcome with it. So I'm not worried about that. In fact,
Yes.
now I enjoy speaking.
Yes, wonderful. So you have traveled the whole journey. You have seen yourself someone who got intimidated looking at so many people and then talking to them or addressing to them. And this point of time when you're a full-fledged teacher who knows how to manage the stage fright or anxiety, or how to overcome that little anxiousness, which those butterflies flying in the stomach, and then trying to compose yourself and then delivering what you have to deliver in the end. Is it?
Yeah, and the
Right.
and the words are very important. How you're putting your words, because
Right.
different people interpret it in different ways. So maybe you're speaking
Absolutely.
good, but some people might take it in a bad way. So you have to be
True.
very choosy and very careful about
Absolutely.
what, mainly for public speaking when you're talking
Right.
to individual, but to a number of people.
Yeah, you're right, Shubhashish, and I think that's again a training that is required over there, not only to overcome the stage fright, but also the right selection of words. Because what you rightly mentioned is the fact that when you're addressing so many people, because of stage fright, we tend to lose and forget our words. One, but even if we are holding on to our words, we have to impactfully use them in a way that the message is passed on in that short span of time. Otherwise, we get down from the stage and we like, I wanted to say a lot of things, but I couldn't say. So it is all rehearsed well, and slowly and gradually it becomes a part of your personality. Anytime, every time when we ask you to speak, we ask someone to speak, this person knows how to do it. So I think that's a training that's required. Okay, great. Thank you, Shubhashish. I can see we have Rubina. Yeah, Rubina, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I want to share my some experience of the last day.
Yes, please.
In the Friday, I had a one webinar which I have to speak with my supervisor. Like supervisor will speak for 1 hour. I have to speak for 10 minutes.
All right.
So I prepared well the presentation, a PPT, and everything I had prepared. But on the stage, what happened? I feel that I couldn't remember anything. Everything is blank out, and I have to. But I spoke only by seeing the letters what which I have written in my in my draft manuscript.
Right.
So I I could not speak my own. So and somewhere when I start to speak my own, I was struggling. I was struggling.
Right.
Sometimes I keep quiet and
Right.
I am thinking what I want to speak,
Right.
and then I have to I have to saw the manuscript and then I read out from there. So I feel very bad that
Mm-hmm.
time that I could not able to speak all these things. I was struggling, and my supervisor is speaking like this, so I could not able to manage like this. So I was feel bad. Although my supervisor told me that your hard work has been
Mm-hmm.
in that PPT. You are speaking well, but I was not
Right.
satisfied with my presentation because I know I can present more than better
True.
like the last day for last day. So I
Right.
don't know how to overcome this one. Why these things has happened, I couldn't understand. because
Right.
of some, I think, nervousness, lack of
Yes.
confidence. I feel like this, but
Hmm.
I don't know, sir, how to overcome all these.
Right.
Although I am trying.
Yes. No, no, that's the key word. You have to keep trying, Rubina. Could you just set me the context when you were talking to the audience? How many people were there in the audience?
200 people, more than 200 people.
All right. And you were sitting on the platform. You were on the stage. Was it in that
No, no,
setup?
online, in the online.
In the online. All right. That was an online mode. Okay. Perfect. Right. So I think we can see already encouragement is pouring in.
But
So Rubina, yeah.
sir, I can speak in like in front of the audience
Yes.
in the platform. I can speak where I didn't have any manuscript, anything.
Mhm.
There I can manage everything. I can speak very fluently and I can overcome all these. There I
Right.
nothing have I have to feel. But in the online, I feel I could not speak anything. I have to see the manuscript and then I can speak. I
Right.
don't know why. Although
No,
I
no.
prepared well to everything,
Right.
I rehearsed
Mhm.
so many times.
Right. I think what I'm trying to understand from this experience of yours, Rubina, you as an individual, when you say that if I were to do it on the spot without any content and in front of so many people, I managed to do it. But on the contrary, when I was doing it in an online manner, along with the scripted text that I had to speak in a natural way, that was bothering me. So I think what I can draw from your experience is the fact that you, as an individual, is someone who's spontaneous. You can speak all by yourself. You just need some keywords, I think. And that too, when you are facing people like live human beings who are sitting in front of you, that is more engaging for you, that is more captivating for you, and you get started, and then you can build on your points and thoughts very easily. When it comes to the online platform, where the way we are doing right now, see, I cannot see any of one of you. I'm just talking, and it can be one monotonous, but you have to keep your energy up. One second is that you have to feel that they are there in front of you, because such is the situation, Rubina, in today's time, that every now and then we will be encountering online webinars and sessions, and that's the new lifestyle. So another point to be put here is the fact that for you, you want to be spontaneous, but since you were given those texts and you had to read them out, and you were not too sure, if I don't look at them, maybe I would go haywire. So you were sticking back onto that. So what I suggest is that a little bit of more rehearsal could have been a ray of hope for you, wherein you could have seen it in a way that you are doing it in a natural way and not reading it out. Because any which way, you were leaning back onto that text. I can feel that the way you are telling me. So if it were just for some keywords that you took the help from the text, and then you developed your own ideas and your own points, I think that way you would be more natural, and that can really help you. And do not feel as if these people, like, see, I can see so many participants here, but for me, every one of you is there. Even if the camera is off, it doesn't matter to me at all. I'm feeling that Rubina is there, Mohammad Arshad is there, and Shubhashish is there, Mohammad Arslan is there, everyone is there. So I feel that, you people are there, and that energizes me. You have to always ensure that even if you don't see people, people are seeing you. They're looking at how you're conducting yourself and what energy are you bringing onto the table. And when you bring that energy on the table, it is something that is contagious. It will be given back to you. So please ensure, Rubina. And the best part is that there are two things that I really liked in your discussion. One, that you felt bad about it. One should feel bad about certain things, that what we expect out of us. If we don't come to that level, we should feel bad, but it should not demoralize us at all. Which means that you should tell yourself, Robin, and everyone else for that matter, yes, I could have done it better. What I do now next time is I would do it differently. We have to ensure, where did I miss it. Even for my this session of ours, if I'm doing something, I'm registering it. I'm not doing good, I'm keeping a note of it in my mind. Okay, next time I should do it differently. And this is how we progress. All the wonderful speakers, Rubina, in today's time, they have worked hard to reach where they are today. When you talk about your supervisor, if she has that charm to speak and engage people, she has developed it over the years. Maybe the first time when she spoke in the online world, she wasn't the same person as she is today. So it happens for every one of us. That needs a lot of practice, but consistency is very important. And you have to always see as to what the flaws were, what the shortcomings were, and how we can overcome them. So just wear those glasses which tell you that, okay, this thing didn't go well, let me correct it. Never ever give yourself message, oh, I am not a good speaker, I can never do it. No, it's not like that. It's always the learnings that we take from any kind of exchange that we do. That makes sense, Rubina, for you?
Yeah, yeah, sir. Yes, sir. I will do, sir.
Absolutely,
I will try my best effort. I will
absolutely.
give my best effort,
Yes,
sir.
please give your best, do your best, and I'm sure you will, get through with flying colors. And that's how we all develop. Maybe the way I used to speak, 15 years back is not the same way as I speak today, and the way I will speak in next 15 years will not be the same way as I speak today. So we change ourselves and we develop and we pick up things from other people. I pick up so much from so many participants in this session. You say it in a different way. I like it. I pick it up, and it all happens unknowingly because something that impresses us, we don't even get to know what impresses us, and that's how we pick it up and we move ahead. And then we test it. Oh, some XYZ person also said the same thing. Okay, he said it in a different way, let me pick it up from him. So that's how our learning starts. So your expert, your supervisor is like a source of inspiration for you. When you say that I am impressed by the way she speaks, pick it up from her then.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you, Ravina. Don't give
Thank
up. It's a wonderful way. And sincere congratulations to you to have spoken in front of 200 people. It's not an easy task, believe me. It's not at all an easy task. So bravo for that and keep up your motivation.
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Ravina. I think Mohammed Arslan has to say something. Yeah, Mohammed Arslan.
Yeah, I want to like say about the feedback of the like
Yeah,
Rubina.
yeah.
So I can say like this: if you are standing in front of audience, so you
Mhm.
don't hesitate because you are already on top. That is the
Right,
reason you are standing in front of them. So you don't hesitate and don't think about you are like wipe out of your data which you are like presenting on in front of them. So
right,
you just say whatever you have in your mind. So and don't try to hesitate like you are not understanding and you are not like good in your English. So I am not also like good in my language, but I can also express my thoughts with my words. And if we are not able with the correct words, so we can use the Hindi words also in front
right,
of them. So and you can say one word in front of them. I'm not good in English, but I will try to cover all the things which I am I want to like express with you. So you
right.
can say like this, so everyone can understand and they can appreciate you for this.
Absolutely. Beautifully said, Mohammed Arslan. I think that really makes a lot of sense. Just give yourself a message. The moment you are going to stand on the stage, Robina, everyone else, even for myself, whenever we are standing on the stage, we tell ourselves, I'm here at the top now. I have to really deliver. I've got limited time. And that's true. It comes with practice. And the way Mohammed Arslan said, you can always tell them, see, English is not my cup of tea. I might fumble in English. So I am going to lean on some Hindi words as well, with a little smile on your face and just see how everyone connects with you. I mean, these are the ways in
Yes.
which we can do it,
It
right?
is actually it is very important because if you are saying if we are not speaking, so that is the reason we will like हम खो देंगे अपना इंटरेस्ट सामने वाले को.
True,
But
absolutely, exactly. It's like, this way or that way. And we have such a small span of attention these days. And people remember Rubina, Mohammed Aslan, or Shubhashi, oh, they came on to the stage and they said something interesting. And normally these things are never said so openly. It needs courage. For example, the way Mohammed Arslan said, you tell them very upfront, see, English is something that I'm learning. I'm a learner of English. I might make a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure you would laugh at me in the end. So it's better for me to go back to Hindi. Say something of this sort with a lot of confidence and a smile. Look at them. They'll be like, oh, we're totally okay if you spoke in Hindi as well. You know? So that's how but it all comes with practice. It all comes with a lot of courage, and slowly and steadily we develop it. Otherwise, it's always a tricky thing. And there should be people around us who tell us that no problem at all. Go ahead. Also, if we fumble, I listen to Shubhashi, but before that, Rubina and everyone else who, if at times we think, I forget my words at times. So, you should have these ways out to sort of help yourself. So you could always say, the moment if I forget something, I'll be like, oh my God, I've got such an impressive audience and such a great audience in front of me. You're making me forget my words, dear. So you can always, give it back to them, saying in a way that I'm forgetting my words because I have such a wonderful and lovely audience in front of me. How do you expect me to remember everything when such dazzling faces are there in front of me? So we work on these tricks and tips to help ourselves to get out of that situation. At times, microphone doesn't work, Rubina. The mic is not working, and then We go so awkward. What should I say? How do I manage? And then you have to throw in some filler. You have to just manage the situation, and that's how we do. But keep observing people. How do they manage? Look at the seniors. Look at people who are so experienced. How do they manage when electricity isn't working, when the mic is not working, or something just falls off the stage? How do they manage it? What joke do they pass on? That's how we learn, right? All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir,
Shubhashish.
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, one good activity is, Rubina, you can do one thing. You can do mock practice. You can think of a topic and imagine that you're giving a presentation and give a presentation. So this mock practice will help you to enhance your skills and bring in a lot of confidence.
Absolutely. That's a good suggestion, Shubhashish. Yeah, Rubina, you could do that. You could always record yourself on, it could be Google Meet, it could be, our Zoom meeting or on your mobile phone. Just record yourself. Because once you have recorded yourself, you would know I am going to run through these words again. And I might fumble, but since I've already spoken those words, I'm not going to fumble anymore now. Second, this line bothers me. Let me just speak it out once. That does help. I'm sure you all know that movie stars, they have to rehearse their dialogues, don't they? They do. And when the final take takes place, they do it in a way that they are a part of that real character. This happens only when they have rehearsed their dialogues well. Rubina, everyone else, it's for us to rehearse very well. And when the actual performance asks us to be our best, it happens naturally for us. We don't have to rehearse for it anymore then, because we have rehearsed in a detailed way and we know how to do our job in the best possible manner. Right? All right. So I think thank you everyone for dashing in your experiences and your suggestions as well. Then,
Thank,
yeah,
thank you so much, everyone, for giving me your insights and for
sure.
motivate
Motivate.
me
Yeah.
to overcome my challenges. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rubina. And indeed,
I
we all are in the same boat. You're not a different one. We all are in the same boat. So we all experience the ups and downs and these glitches and everything. So
oh,
it's a platform wherein we can
yes,
share our
sir.
experiences as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will do all this. I
Perfect.
will.
And do let us know how did it work for you, or
Yes,
what
sir.
differently did you do, right? Because we look forward to these kind of suggestions, and we would also want to apply the same for our journey as well. Right. Quickly moving ahead. Now, at times we don't have any English speaking environment. How to work on it? Of course, we can have communities. We can have these kind of sessions wherein we can work on developing our English. And something very important is inconsistent learning habits. We have to be consistent. Consistency is the key to success. Hard work, of course, but consistency. So being consistent helps us in a longer run. Now, I'll quickly dash in some such suggestions. The way we were saying that lack of practice in such a situation, speak daily. We have got so many language applications. We have got partners. We have got buddies. Or speak to yourself. It might sound crazy, but it works wonderfully well to speak to yourself. Put your mobile phone on, uh, do the recording, or stand in front of the mirror, talk to yourself. At times we don't know how our facial expressions change when we talk. It is important for us to see ourselves how we speak. Oh, I don't make my face correct when I say this. Oh, my eyes go very small when I say this. That's okay. But as actors, as experts, as politicians, as people who are world leaders, how do they address larger gatherings? They are very sure of what they say, and if the facial expressions go hand in hand with what they say, that does make a lot of impact. So please ensure that the body gestures and the facial movements also go hand in hand with what we say. For that, we need to see how we look. So either we record ourselves in a video or we look at ourselves in the mirror. That's very important for us to speak daily. Again, please don't fear at all the mistakes. Mistakes are the stepping stones to our success. Believe me, no one is perfect. We make mistakes every day and we learn from our mistakes. Yeah. Making mistakes is not a mistake, but repeating your mistakes is a mistake. Right? So please never do that. Of course, you can repeat it once or twice, but then don't do it in a repetitive way, wherein we feel, okay, how hard I try, I just cannot come out of it. So don't do that. Make note of mistakes that we do and then don't repeat them. Slowly and gradually, you will do away with them. The next is we have, yeah, limited vocabulary. Now, how do you enhance your vocabulary? Try to listen a lot. Now, these days, I think the reading habits have gone down because we have paucity of time. We tend to listen a lot. In such a situation, just try to listen to quality content. There's so many YouTube videos and podcasts, and internet is flooded with so much in terms of content in English. Try listening to that wonderful content, and every time, please ensure, the way I was telling about the golden triangle rule, try to see its transcription, because if you don't see the transcription, your brain, the poor brain, the naive brain, the innocent brain, doesn't know what that sound is. How does it look like in a spelling form? How does it look like in a word form? How does it look like in a structured form? No idea at all. So let your brain see this through the eyes, let your brain hear this through your ears, and please ensure that everything. And the good part is that every day, every day we have content floating onto our feeds, and especially it is all subtitled these days, which is great. I think we should make most of it. You'd like to say something more there, Silan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So we can like store our vocabulary,
yeah,
so we can like practice like this. We can store that kind of words in our mobile phone, as
right,
well as if we are in home and if we are in office, so we can store in a blackboard.
right.
So we can use this kind of words, and we can like see many times.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, you, yeah,
that is the best practice, and we can also store in a file and in a Excel file this
yes,
kind of words. So we can
absolutely.
easily use this kind of word, and we can make the sentence of these words.
Yes, yes. I
And
think what you like,
daily,
yeah.
and daily 2-3 words is enough for us. For
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we should not even underestimate Mohammed Hassan. Even a single word per day makes a huge
yes,
difference. Yeah.
and it is
So,
it is not easy task.
absolutely not.
Yes,
Absolutely not.
three
It's a
words
huge
is
task.
enough for the day.
Yeah, I think what you rightly mentioned, Mohammed Arsan, is the fact that it should be visible. It should be
Yes,
in front of your eyes.
yes,
Maybe you
yes,
are passing by your corridor and you have it, get it stuck over there in your house, any place that's visible to you. And the second important part that you say is the fact that you have to use it. You have to ensure using that word in your communication that day. Let's say, I don't know, any word that we have developed. Let's say, I don't know, any word ultimately, maybe we knew it, but someone who did not know, finally. And this person has to ensure that आज के दिन में मुझे word ultimately काम में लेना है. And how? Maybe, oh, I found it ultimately. Oh, I understood it ultimately. So you have to purposefully do it. Opportunities would not come and knock your door. You'll have to create them as well at the same time. They do come and they knock your door, but you have to create them for yourself, because otherwise you would have a great list, a wonderful list of 1,000 words, such mesmerizing words, but you have never used it. हमें आता ही नहीं काम में लेना, कभी काम में ही नहीं आया, कभी लिया ही नहीं, कभी पता ही नहीं चला. So please ensure, use it. And with whom you can use Mohammed Arslan and everyone else, you can use it with people who don't judge you. Use it with your family members.
yes,
Even if they're not worried about English, just use it in front of them. At least you as an individual, you can use it. And the more you use it, believe me, once you will use it purposefully, you will do it with an voluntary action second time as well. But the third or the fourth time, it will come out automatically, and you would not even get to know. You'd be like, "Arey, ये तो अपने आप मैंने use में ले लिया. I did not even think about it." This is the transition that happens. So the way you say Mohammed Hassan, one word, but that one word, how have you brought it to a level where it comes out easily? That is the real success, and that's the real
yes.
journey, which takes time, but then you have to do it purposefully. Right, perfect. Thank you. Shubhashi, you'd like to say something?
Yes, sir. It is regarding like how to practice speaking.
Yes. Yeah.
That will be confidence. One creative activity can be, you can try and mock your favorite actor.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
Amitabh Bachchan, Don ko pakadna mushkil hi nahi, namumkin hai.
Right.
If you try out this kind of activity, I think that can enhance your, your delivery and your
Yes.
confidence and in the way you're speaking.
Absolutely.
Do I
Absolutely. I
think
think
so?
totally, totally. It works wonders, Shubhashish. You're right. What you are saying is a fact that's something that interests you. If you're interested in Bollywood, if you have a favorite actor, actress, whoever this person is, you can take up those dialogues. And if those people have worked in, English movies as well, you can take it up as well. Otherwise, you're interested in food. Go ahead with that. You're interested in traveling, watch those videos. You're into yoga, health, fitness, watch that. Believe me, your interest is going to take you not only at a bigger level in that domain, but at the same time, it would scaffold your complete learning with English. And slowly and gradually, you'd be like, I know these words, I know how they have to be used, but always ensure to consume the content of people who speak wonderful English, and that we can get to know about the kind of likes they get the kind of content they create. So that happens. But believe me, you can always root it through your interest. The way Shubhashi rightly says is the fact that find what you're interested in and then watch those videos in English with subtitles. And slowly and gradually, again, the key point is consistency. Be consistent with that. All right, great. Quickly moving ahead, a weak grammar foundation. Strengthen your foundation of grammar. Please never ever underestimate it. अपने आप हो जाएगी. Definitely अपने आप हो जाती है. It happens all by itself. But you have to take a pause and you have to say, today I'm going to sit and I'm going to learn the rules of grammar. For example, what happens is we at times we don't know what the rules are, but we are great at it. It's a wonderful level to be at a level wherein you don't know what the reasons are, but you have mastered it. It only comes when you are immersed culturally into that language day in and day out. But what if you are not a native speaker of that language and you don't have that environment and that ambiance specifically? In such a situation, you have to ensure that you revisit the rules every now and then. You watch YouTube videos, you sit with experts, or you catch hold of books. So the grammar books, the famous grammar book, I can even show it right now. I have it with me. We as kids, we had Renan Martin. I'm sure these are the revised versions of these books. Go back to these books.
Yeah, I have also.
You have that book, yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
sure all language lovers, they have this book, and as kids we used to always flip through these pages, and now things have become so interesting that they have revised these books, and they're no more cumbersome. They are so enchanting, and you work on them as a friend of yours. Believe me, it's going to be a wonderful journey, and you would know the reasons why do they use had twice, or why are they using have had, these kind of tenses. And believe me, slowly and gradually, when you will have mastered these tenses, you'll get to know as to how amazingly you can say certain things which otherwise were so difficult for us to express. So this comes with passage of time, but definitely practice is important. Another quick point is poor pronunciation. Please watch TED Talks, movies, podcasts with native speakers, pause them, and there's something called shadowing. Now, shadowing is a term that has come up, but I think we were doing it way behind this whole term came. So, what I understand as in other foreign languages, we used to pause and we used to speak the same way along with the transcription, the way the main speaker spoke. So, this is something that you should speak. For example, if you see an American person or a British person speak English, take just one little sentence, speak the way he speaks. Just see how the sh and j and so they have been said, how this person articulates, where is he or she stressing the most. Pick it up. It will take time. We don't have to be like them, not at all. That's not the intention. Absolutely not. The intention is just to near ourselves to the native pronunciation and to pick the best of their styles. Yeah, Rubina, you'd like to say something?
Sir, I want to know how do I practice the grammars, like tenses, all these
How to practice the grammar?
tenses. Like how do I practice every like revision, sir? Because
Right.
sometimes it's boring. It could not interest that.
No, you're right.
I w-
And not sometimes, every time, Rubina. It's a boring
hmm,
activity. But the unfortunate part is, or the
because
important part, yeah,
sir, what my things happening,
yeah.
I just planning that I will do revision on that, but when I just sit on that, I just quit. I
I know.
didn't
I know.
revision.
So I think what you need to do is that once when we are sure of the fact that I know the tenses, it's not the revision, Rubina. I think it's more of application what is required. Revision आप कितनी बार भी करेंगे, आपका दिमाग कह देगा, I eat, I ate, I have eaten,
Hmm.
been eating. I know it. You know it. Everyone knows those 12
Yes,
golden
yes,
rules.
yes,
But अब
yes.
आगे कैसे बढ़े? What to do more? More is application. You have to apply it. And how do you do that? You take a topic and you talk about it putting someone in front of you. It can be a person who speaks English or doesn't speak English at all. You can make someone sit in front of you, anyone, or maybe there's a wall, there's a mirror. Just sit in front of it and then talk to yourself. Do a monologue and then see. Oh, I got struggled. I wanted to say, कल जब तुम जा चुके होगे तब मैं आ जाऊंगी.
Hmm.
So these kind of sentences, challenge yourself. Tomorrow by 5, when you will have gone, I will return. Something of this sort.
Yeah, and
So, so
Yeah.
you can
yeah,
also
yeah,
write something about the tenses. If you are working on present tense, so you
yeah.
can write the sentence of like present scenario. Like
Yes,
if you are doing right now, you are making
right.
roti, and you are kind of any kind of thing you are doing in present time. You can write about the present tense.
Yes. So
Okay.
write it down as well. What Mohammed Arsan wants to say is that when you speak, ensure to write it down as well, so that you would strengthen your understanding of speaking and writing
Mm.
at the same time. And the brain, believe me, stores it. And one thing that is a magical thing, everyone, I'm sure you would be in lines with what I say. Our brain understands our own voice better than anyone else's voice. When I speak it out, my brain would identify this voice and would hold on to it for a longer time. So make yourself heard. अपनी आवाज स्वयं को सुनाइए, मन की आवाज नहीं, बोलकर. You'll have to always speak it out. It's not for Ruben, it's for everyone else and for me as well, that you have to speak it out. Let your brain know, "Oh, that's Jaz's voice, that's Rubina's voice, that's my voice, my own voice, and I'm fumbling over here. Let me correct it." So that's how it's a comprehensive thing. It's such a complex thing, but we are trying to break it down in a way that all these particles, these parts, these elements come together, and then they get the best English speaking skills out from us. So that's how it happens, Rubina. So always speak it out and have a recorder as well in front of you. Just see, I'm going to speak for a minute. That's what an activity is that I've planned for you. Let's see if the time permits. Now, what happens is I'll just take 30 seconds more on Rubina's point. We all like to appreciate ourselves for the fact that we already know, but it has a limit. We all know the tenses, those 12 famous tenses. हम कितनी बार जा जाकर उनको देखेंगे, कोई मतलब नहीं है. अपनी पीठ आप कितना भी थपथपा लें, वो 12 टेंसेस आपको आ चुके हैं. बार बार रिवाइज करने का कोई सेंस नहीं है. What I'm trying to push you all is, go ahead and take up a topic and use those 12 sentences or tenses over there, and then challenge yourself. Okay, I couldn't say this. अब दिक्कत आ रही है. What happens is that बार बार टेंस करके आएंगे, प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, नोटबुक में करेंगे. ये बड़ा इसको monotonous learning जिसको बोलते हैं, it's that kind of a learning which doesn't serve the purpose. The purpose is to be able to speak comfortably and fluently. So that's more important, that you have an application based approach rather than a theoretical based approach. All right, moving ahead quickly. So pronunciation is something that we have to really ensure that we lean on to the native speakers. When we talk about translating from native language, ये तो होगा ही होगा. You cannot help it. But I'll only put a little word here. Be mindful. ऐसा मेरी भाषा में होता है क्या, ये अंग्रेजी में होता है? शायद नहीं होता. उसको चेक कीजिएगा. हमेशा mindful रहिए. For example, the very simple example I gave you. मुझे अंग्रेजी आती है. English comes to me. ऐसे तो नहीं बोलते. किसने बताया ऐसे नहीं बोलते? Because I have heard many people say, they say, I know English. That means your brain heard it somewhere. You got to know about it. So similarly, train yourself for this. Watch, if you are lacking the listening skills, you have to improve. And of course, we have talked about it. The nervousness and lack of confidence, we have talked about it. Talking in front of a mirror, joining such groups where people don't judge us. If there is no English speaking environment, create one. You can always talk to chatbots. आप बात कीजिए, chat GPT से बात कीजिए, आप बात कीजिए. You can always talk to people in a close knit community. And especially have a consistent learning habit. Be very consistent. Come what may, never ever give up. Yeah, of course, there can be a festive season, there can be marriages, there can be anything that has happened in the family, but that should not completely remove you from the track of learning. It can disturb us for a while, but then we have to come back to our learning journey. Okay, now how we can enhance our learning skills? We can do role play. The way Shubhashish said, go into the character of Amitabh Bachchan, whatever character he played, and do it. Definitely, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
One talk.
like
Yeah.
for this, I can say like this: if you have any topic, if you are picking up any topic, so you can sit with your like friend or like any kind of person
Yes.
who is available on that time, so you can discuss with them that
Yes.
topic. And
Yes.
it is a like fun activity, and it will
Yeah.
also like improve your language as well as your confidence level.
Yes, absolutely. Very good, Mohammed Arsan. I just had a little point to it. Always do your homework well. What happens is that when we are talking to our friend Rubina, we say, okay, okay, let's catch up tomorrow, right? And what are we going to talk about? We'll see tomorrow. We'll talk on the spot. That's great. But it should never happen this way, at least at the initial part of it. How? We both have to discuss on the phone. Tomorrow, we both are going to talk half an hour. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. We'll catch up at 1 o'clock on phone, right? No, no, we'll meet person to person in a cafe. We'll have some tea. Okay, great. At 4 o'clock, we'll catch up. What is the topic? The topic is we'll talk on my dream vacation. Great. You have to do your homework well. You have to prepare it. Okay. Yes. So will I. I'll bring in some vocabulary. You also bring in some vocabulary. I'll bring in some idiomatic expressions. You to do that. I'll bring some wonderful sentences. Yes, we'll bring it. It should always be progressive. It should be progressive, which means I'm not going to do on the spot speaking. No, no, not at all. What can I say if I haven't done my homework well? I have to go on internet. I have to check many people's content, what they have written about their wonderful dream vacations. I've picked up those words. I've picked up those lines. I've picked up those expressions, and I've dashed them in my own content. And then I've said it in front of my friend. My friend says, "Wow, you have spoken wonderfully well," and that's his takeaway. And then when he speaks to me in his wonderful way, that's my takeaway. You got it? So there has to be a takeaway. It should be progressive. Homework should be well done. Please never ever do it on the spot. At least at this point of time. But फिर होगा क्या बाद में? आप इतनी बार प्रैक्टिस कर चुके होंगे कि आपको कोई कहेगा इस पे बोलिए, आप बोल पाएंगे because इतनी vocabulary develop हो जाएगी आपकी. So this is something that happens with practice, right? All
Yeah,
right.
I completely agree with it.
Perfect. Quickly, we'll move ahead. Karaoke singing. आप गाने गाते हैं, please always sing. And you have karaoke there. We did this K Sara Sara song as well. So, you can always do these kind of things. Whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. K Sara Sara. So just imagine if someone asked me a question. What do you think about the future? Do you think future we can predict? Absolutely not. As the beautiful song says, Ke Sara Sara, whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. Whatever will be, will be. So I've just quoted the whole song like that. So that's the beauty of song. Not only does it pass on a wonderful message, but also it gives me the content to speak and share. And then I can always say, oh, that's a beautiful song by Doris Day. She sang it in 1956. Do you know in that movie? So much of content that comes along with that little song. No? That makes sense, everyone? Okay, then
Yes.
you have to watch movies with a twist. You can always change the dialogues, and you can see what if you change the end of this movie, how would you do it? You can always do that. Storytelling, you can always start with, one day I found a mysterious box, and then you carry on the story. Or you talk to yourself, you stand in front of the mirror and then you talk to yourself. I'll just take Shivashi's point after these 5 points quickly. You can always have a speed conversation, rapid fire question. What's your favorite hobby? If you had superpowers, what would you do or what would they do? You talk to a celebrity. Just imagine if you were to talk to a celebrity, how would you do? And in the end, two more. Record your voice always, because when we are talking, we get disconnected at our brain level. At times we end up saying something and we didn't want to say. We're like, मैंने ऐसे नहीं बोला, मैंने ये word तो बोला ही नहीं. अरे बोला था आपने, अच्छा मुझे नहीं याद. इसलिए हमेशा अपने आप को रिकॉर्ड कीजिए at the initial part of learning speaking, so that okay, I said it wrongly. मैंने वो ing नहीं लगाया, मैंने to नहीं लगाया, मैंने वो third form तक गलत बोल दिया, मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि eaten होता है, मैंने eated कह दिया, मैंने बोल दिया I have eaten. मुझे पता है eaten होता है, but एकदम से पता नहीं क्या हुआ. I don't know what happened to me. I was just talking, I was thinking about the next point, and by mistake I said eaten. So these things happen with us, which is perfectly normal, but you have to master it. You have to control it. And the last point, then I'll take Shubhashi's point, is tongue twister challenge. You can always give yourself tongue twisters so that the words roll off easily from your mouth. Yeah, Shubhashi.
Yes, sir. So when you told your storytelling, I tried out one activity which
Yeah.
is a bit storytelling a bit different way. It's called story building. So let's say there are
Oh,
4 or 5 students. So I will start with one story. Let's say once upon a time they lived a woodcutter in a forest. Okay.
right.
The other student will say a sentence. The third student will say a sentence. In this way, we'll
Yes.
try to build a story.
Yes. Pass on the story. Yeah, they're creating a story on the spot with a previous sentence.
So there must
Great.
be connection, and the student must, think in such a way so that at the end we get a proper story. So this
Yeah.
I thought
Proper
very
story, or a story that has involved everyone and that is funny as well, because everyone would say it from different perspective, and it
exactly.
it brings out
And even if
to.
it's different, maybe you have a different plan. Okay, the
Yes.
second student have a different plan, but you see at
Yes.
the end the story turns out to be a different story. So
That's
that's a
indeed a
very,
wonderful way. And I
yeah,
think, Shubhash, what is interesting about this activity that you are mentioning, everyone is at ease. There's no judgment. Everyone is laughing and they are just
exactly.
enjoying it. So I think that's a beautiful way. And once you have
So that
recorded the whole session, we can always go back individually to tell, okay, see, you did this wrong. You should have said this. You said, ing thing, and you should have said the ed thing and this and that. So we can work on those things as well. But just at that process, at that moment, we should not stop, hamper anyone. Let them be free and let them just enjoy. I think that's very important. Bravo.
exactly. So that's an experience I shared with you, and the student is present over here also with whom I did it.
Oh,
I
great. I
did it
think.
with us.
Right.
And another regarding tongue twisters,
Yeah,
it is obviously a very good activity to improve your like fluency, the
mm,
phonetics.
yes,
Okay, and sir, just a quick suggestion. If you can have a session on IP and the phonetics, it will be of great help for us.
definitely. We'll look into it, and we'll sit with our team. We'll work on it, and we'll get back to you on that. Perfect. Thank you,
Right, sir.
Shubhashish,
Thank
for all your inputs. And since we're at the end of this session, a little, just a 2 minute thing more. We at Shubh Language Academy, we have been trying to bring some interesting content for everyone. So this time, there's a little podcast we have released. This is to come back onto the fact that whenever we are listening to something, please always scaffold it with the transcription part of it and then speak the way they speak. When I say they, the natives of that language, it is not important to imitate them completely. It's just that we near ourselves to a point wherein we might sound like them, or at least we are not sounding confused. That's more important. So let me play it for you, and I'm going to stop it at 1 minute to check if you have understood it, and then I'll play the remaining part with the transcription so that we can always strengthen our learning and our understanding. So just and the topic, as you can see, it is importance of English. Okay.
Hey, Rebecca, do you really think learning English is that important? I mean, people speak so many different languages. Why only English?
Oh, absolutely, Fred. English is like the key to a big door. It opens so many opportunities. Don't you think it's important for work?
I get your point. But isn't it enough to just be good at your job? Why should language matter?
Well, imagine you're applying for a job at a big company. Most international companies prefer employees who speak English because it helps in communication. It's a global language.
But what if I only work in my country? I don't really need English, right?
Not true. Even in local companies, English is used in emails, presentations, and meetings. If you don't speak English, you might miss out on big opportunities.
Hey, Rebecca, do you really think learning English is that important? I mean, people speak so many different languages. Why only English?
Oh, absolutely, Fred. English is like the key to a big door. It opens so many opportunities. Don't you think it's important for work?
I get your point. But isn't it enough to just be good at your job? Why should language matter?
Well, imagine you're applying for a job at a big company. Most international companies prefer employees who speak English because it helps in communication. It's a global language.
But what if I only work in my country? I don't really need English, right?
Not true. Even in local companies, English is used in emails, presentations, and meetings. If you don't speak English, you might miss out on big opportunities.
All right, so that was a little idea that I wanted to pass on to you. With the help of podcasts, we can always strengthen our understanding, and there are multiple ways to do it. We'll be sharing these podcasts in small bits and even in their complete version with you all on WhatsApp, and they'll be found on YouTube on our channel. So that was a little discussion on the topic, how to enhance our spoken skills in English. I hope it did make sense to you. And if at all there are any more queries, feel free to get in touch with us. We're there for you, to help us all in this journey of learning English. With that, we have come to the end of our today's session. I wish you a great day ahead. Take care of yourself and keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining. Thank you.
So thank you for
Thank
this
you,
wonderful.
sir.
Thank
And
you.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to really for today's session because of the French. That is one of my favorite topic in French. Who's Ami?
Perfect. Okay. Looking forward to seeing you, Shubhashish, and everyone else over there. Thank you.